fans are, it's like they go after the wrong guy. Oh, we hate Rex. We hate Rex. No, don't hate Rex. Rex just isn't a good quarterback. That's what he is. He is what he is. You know, he's decent at times. He's good. Usually, he's bad. And that's what he is. That's what he's going to give you. He's consistent. You know what to expect from Rex, and that's not a lot. Who you need to be mad at here is not Rex Grossman, if you're a Bears fan. It's the ownership for keeping him around and making him the guy. It's like, it's a job that, like, he doesn't even want. It's like he's reluctant. Ooh, I don't know if I want to be a starting quarterback. But no, Bears fans, oh, we hate Rex, but we'll show up to every game. We'll show up to every game and pay for our $6.50 nachos and, you know, just keep putting money in the owners' pockets and keep letting them make these ridiculous decisions with your team. So that's your call, Bears fans. If I'm you, if I'm Chicago fans, I'm saying I'll be a fan again when you're a team again. Honestly, I'm saying I'll come back around. It's nothing for me to abandon a team. Screw your loyalty. I don't care about that. I will abandon a team if the ownership is taking me, the consumer, for granted. I'll bail out. I will totally bail out. I'm not going to stick by a losing team. Like some sort of loyalty I need to be true to. Like, no, I'm not married to any sports teams. I don't have any real relationship with a franchise. There's players I like on teams. But to just commit yourself to one team, it's these days, the way as much as players switch around, it's how do you even commit to one team? I mean, what is it you really like? You know, when I was growing up, it was different. When I was growing up, you know, the Cardinals roster in baseball was like essentially the same every year. You know, and you had names like Smith and McGee and Clark. You know, and they're there every year, year in and year out. And it's not just the teams that you had like a relationship with, it was the actual players. You felt a connection with the actual players on your team. And this was, this is 20 years ago. 20, 25 years ago. Players are on teams their whole careers nearly. And that's the way it worked back in. But now, now you turn on the TV and the Cardinals line up, instead of like a Smith and a Clark and a McGee, you got like a Pujols and like a Molina. You have things that players you can't pronounce. And there's one or two guys that a team will keep around. But the rest of the lineup and the rest of the team and roster gets totally shuffled every year. And that's every sport, every team nearly. It really is. You can almost count on one hand, teams in all of the major sports that have kept at least 5 guys around for 5 years. You can't do it. Yeah, Elwood makes a good point in the chat room. He says, nowadays, you hate to buy a shirt with a name on the back. You really can't. You really can't, Elwood. And you know what? I have a Pujols jersey, a Cardinals Pujols jersey. I felt safe buying that because I knew he'd be around for a while. But, Willie got himself an Edmonds one. Chris got himself a Scott Rowland jersey. Where are those guys? Gone. They were cornerstones of the Cardinals team for a couple of years, but now they're gone. And so, in this day and age, it's hard for me to really understand how people can have that close of ties with teams when those particular teams are totally different year to year. Like, to me, it just my relationships, the bonds that I've had with these teams have all been weakened because it's just the sports landscape now. And I still love sports. I like players more than I like teams. I still pull for certain teams, but I like players around the league. Whereas before, growing up, I wasn't big into any players that weren't on one of my favorite teams. I wasn't really a fan of anyone not on the Chicago Bulls. or not on the St. Louis Cardinals, or not on the San Francisco 49ers. I wasn't a fan of anyone not on my favorite teams. But now, the way things are now, I mean, hell, I like guys on every team. I do. It's different. It's so much different now, but people still say married to their teams, and it's, I guess you keep your loyalty, but if I like a team and all of a sudden they suck, and it's obviously the management's fault. Now, the Yankees are in last place in their division right now, and they're the highest paid team in baseball. So you can't really be mad at the owners for this, because what are they supposed to do? They have all the guys in place they need to have in place. The players just aren't winning games. That's a different situation. I mean, that's a whole other situation. Then you can be like, well, the Yankees just need to get it back on track. You stick by your team, and that's good and fine. But when your management, when your ownership is just taking your money and pissing it away on whatever, yachts and hookers, whatever they do, and just, letting a little bit trickle into roster salary, you don't put up with that. Don't sell out his stadium. Don't do that. Just